Hi, welcome to the Crack of Dawn. I'm so excited that you're tuning in for another program. And today, I didn't even know what we're going to paint until about 5 seconds ago. I like to wing it, and I love it that way. So first of all, before we begin our painting, I just wanted to discuss a little thing about the bullying thing, because I always say I love it. I love it. And I always tell my kids, when someone says, oh, you're ugly, I love it. Those glasses are so ugly, love it. You're fat, love it. You're skinny, love it. So it kind of puts a period on the end of the sentence. And then nobody's going to bother you. It's sort of like if you're 6'5", nobody bothers you. But if people pick on you, you just say, I love it. You know, where'd you get that? At Walmart? I love Walmart, love it. So that's my answer to all you great kids out there that are dealing with this stuff. Just say, I love it, and walk away. It works like a charm. Okay, now today, I put out a couple little paintings of little clotheslines that are really fun, but nobody wants a clothesline on this huge canvas here. So these are kind of fun. Maybe we'll do that next time. And my next guest is going to be Ron from Ron's Automotive in Canton. I don't know what we'll paint, probably a car or something automotive-y. But today, I wanted to show you what I do sometimes. I need a picture, especially when I'm here. I have nothing to look at. And so I ripped out this picture in a magazine. It's actually someone else's painting. I don't know who's painting. But down here it says it. So basically, if you're going to do somebody else's painting and then say you're going to sell it or something, you have to credit the artist. It's not a big deal. It's called a reproduction, as I've said before. So do I love this picture? Not really. But when I fold it in half, I love the wisteria. I love the hydrangea. I love the chairs. It might be a little too much for today's episode because it's just going to go quick, and I love it. And behind me, you can see right here, I just did that one in probably maybe 7 minutes. So it's not fantastic, but give me an hour and I can make that gorgeous. But what I thought we'd do today is we'll do the vase of hydrangeas. So we pretty much block out all this stuff, and we'll just focus on the flowers. So what I sometimes do is I fold the picture up so that I'm only looking at what I'm painting. And then I can hold it in my hand out so I can see what I'm doing. Or I can put it here and sort of refer to it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a pencil sketch, take this, and I'm going to draw a vase. Now, if I don't like this vase, I can just make it my own vase. So a vase is usually, it's an oval, okay? You can go out, you can go in, you can do whatever. It's just got to be the same on both sides. You can even do a pitcher if you wanted to, like that, okay? So as long as everything's lined up, you're good to go. Then usually a vase of flowers is on a table. So what you do is you just draw a straight line right through it, and that's how we start. Then these are the hydrangeas that I love. They don't smell, so every bride that uses them, you're going to have no fragrance, but they're gorgeous. And they're very easy to draw because these big, huge ball hydrangeas are very easy. They usually come in 3 colors, the pink, the white, and the purple. And then there's some pink and some other ones mixed in because they breed them differently and all that. But it's so fun to draw these. They're so easy. And you only need about 3 of them to take up a vase because the bulb things are huge. So what I'm going to do is I start with the stick because it's going to be like this. That's 1. There's 2. There's 3. I could put a 4. I could put a whole pile of them like this, but I'm just not going to. I don't want to bore you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to draw just a big ball. So I know that's one of them. Here's another one. And here's another one. And then at least I have something to start with. Now when you look at a hydrangea, the leaves up close, they're like little hearts. So it's like 1 heart there, 1 there, and 1 there. And it's just over and over and over. And sometimes there's a little thing in the middle like that. So if you want, you can just start drawing hearts in like this. But you don't have to do the whole thing because you know what? You're going to go crazy drawing hearts all day. And we have 24 minutes. I'm going to do it fast. Maybe it's 28 minutes, I forgot. But regardless, we're going to do it, whip it up quick, and it's going to come out great. So the first thing I do is I might do a few more hearts just so I know where they are. But I don't need to do that because I can make a brush stroke with can make a heart with a brush stroke. So I'll show you how to do that. Another thing you want to do as a painter is you want to squint your eyes. when you squint your eyes or take your glasses off, everything blurs out. And so instead of saying, oh my gosh, these petals, how am I going to do that? I can't do that darn petal. It's too hard. Well, no, it's not. Squint your eyes and you're going to see that the top of the flower is where the sunlight's hitting it. The bottom of the flower is going to be darker. So I'm going to start by showing you just quickly how to mix some paint. And if you see here, now everybody says, oh, I get so mixed up, I don't know what color blue. You know, these are from Ocean State Job Lot here. And when you're just starting out as a painter, this entire set is $5. So why not? Now, have I used the whole set? No, they'll probably last me like 3 paintings, possibly. I usually put all the colors out because why not? You don't want to go back and mix stuff you don't need. Now, if I know my painting has no red in it, no purple, then I'm obviously not going to put red out. But I've put pretty much all the colors, and I'll show you what they are. So this is burnt umber, which is basically brown. There's burnt sienna, there's burnt umber, there's raw umber. They're just different types of browns. But you mix red and green together, you're going to get brown. You get yellow and purple together, you're going to get brown. I got black, I've got white to make things lighter. I have cerulean blue, cobalt blue, no, French ultramarine blue, and cobalt blue. I have a few different reds. One looks orange, one's like a crimson, which means it has a little bit of blue in it, and one's just straight red. Then we have yellow ochre, which is kind of a dulled down yellow, and then I have a bright yellow and just one green, because blue and yellow makes green, and I have plenty of blues and yellows to mix. I love it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a brush, and again, I usually use the same brush for the whole painting. It depends. This one's okay brush. It's not bad. But when they start getting little wispies on the ends, you can either take some scissors and chop them off, or you can just go with it and use it, or ditch it and get a new brush, because at Dick Blick, you can get some wonderful brushes. You can get some great brushes at Walmart. You can get some great brushes at AC Moore, at Michael's. There's many places to go. I go anywhere that's close. So I love it. Just like Highland Park Market. It's right next to my house. If I need something quick, I go there. I like other grocery stores too, but I love Brian, Molly. I love the whole crowd. So maybe she'll be a guest on the show, Molly. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. I'm going to hold this like this. Normally, you could take like a paper clip. You can figure out a way to tape it or put it here. Maybe I'll put it there. That'll work. Then at least I can see what I'm doing, okay? Now, I love the blue hydrangeas, and those are the ones that I see on the Martha's Vineyard, on the Cape. I love the blue ones, but I'll mix in a couple of them just for the heck of it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by making the entire flower one blue. So I'm gonna take the cerulean blue, I'll mix it with a little white, and I'm gonna make the whole flower blue. The whole thing, okay? If some of it's a little darker, it's great because the light hits the flower and some of the flower is a little darker than others. If I go in and see this heart thing, see, I can make that. And that all of a sudden is gonna look like a hydrangea. And I'll show you later because we're gonna finish this whole thing quick. Sometimes I'll do a painting and then we'll go into the next segment of the show and I'll finish it, just so you know all my paintings aren't a half an hour. But I like to be quick and I like people to loosen up, because a lot of times people are too picky and it takes forever to do a painting, and by the time 15 minutes goes by, you're not gonna like painting anymore. So you gotta be loose. So this one's gonna be blue. Don't worry if you've messed things up. This acrylic paint dries so fast. These little laundry lines that I did those a week ago, and if you put your hand on it, you still get a little paint on you. They're almost dry, but the oil paints will get all over your car, all over your house. If you have a pet, it'll get all over your pet. Then that cat will rub up against a shelf, then it's on your shelf. Then you get in the car, put your hand on the steering wheel, it's all over the steering wheel. This stuff just comes right off. Even after it's dry, you can get it off. So I'm gonna go back and let me do another color hydrangea. So the next hydrangea is gonna be like, I'll do the pink one. So I'll take this alizarin crimson, it's called. Sometimes in the cheaper paints, it's called scarlet. It's sort of like a pinkish, purplish red, and I'm gonna mix that with, again, some white to make it lighter. And then the water is just gonna make your paint go farther. So I'll do this one, I'll do pink. It's kind of a loud pink there, but it's good. And sometimes the hydrangeas go up into this triangle look like that, which is fine. And you don't have to worry if it's a perfect circle. I mean, a flower is a flower. Everybody says, oh, flowers are so hard to paint. Yes, they are. But if you make it very easy by looking at the whole thing at the same time and then going back, it's really not that bad. Now, there's also a hydrangea. It's white. but every now and then it turns like a teeny bit green. And so I'm going to take a teeny bit of this green, mix it with the white, and that's not the green I'm looking for. This is not the color of a flower. But if I take a little of this yellow ochre, which is kind of like a dulled down yellow, if I mix it in with there, now I'm getting a little bit more of the green that I'm looking for. I'm going to get a lot of white, and I'm going to make this whole one this greenish white. I'll make that one kind of pointy too. If I want it behind the blue flower, I'm going to go around it like that. If I want it in front of the blue flower, I'm going to go over the blue flower. So whichever you pick, it's fine. And you know, this stuff is wet, so it might get everywhere, but it dries so fast, it's not even funny. Now, since I still have a lot of the background to do, and I always do a background before I start doing what I just showed you, but you don't have to. Some people will do a background, let it dry, and then by the next time my painting show comes on, you'll already have a background color. You can start with any single color you want. My good friend Carolyn Butts, she is in my class, and she paints every single canvas, except the one she did today. She paints the whole darned canvas bright red. Not even these reds, bright red, like orangey, bright red, like a stop sign. And then, whether or not there's any red in her painting at all, she goes over the red, the whole thing, but you can see some of the red showing through, and it looks really cool. It's sort of her signature look. Maybe she'll come on the show, Carolyn, how about it? Okay, so I've got my water, and I'm gonna make a background. First, I'm gonna make a table. So I'm taking this brown and I'm mixing it in with this green just because this is too brown, so I'm just gonna lighten it up. And I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna make that like a table. I can take a little bit more of this in there to make it a little bit more of a wooden kind of color. And I'm gonna throw that in there. Now, it definitely should be a straight line. If your picture is a color, you don't have to worry. I'm gonna make my picture clear, like glass. So, since my picture is clear, you're going to be able to see the table going right through it, okay, or the wood or whatever it is. If you can't draw a straight line, don't worry about it. You can use a ruler. Some people shake. I kind of do sometimes, so, you know, whatever, don't worry about it. Paint the sides always. I might not this time, but while you're at it, paint the sides. Then you don't need a frame. Then when it's hanging on the wall, it's very in now to not frame stuff. I mean, if you're rich, forget it. They gotta go museum style, which is, those are always gold frames. They look very fancy. So museum style framing means gold. It looks really nice if it's well done. You can frame anywhere. I like Jim from Farmington Frame because he's a good friend. He's always been nice. But if I'm in a bind, you know, I can go anywhere I want. So I'm going to go straight through my picture. I'm going to use more water just so it goes farther. So the water just kind of, you know, makes it watery so that it can fill up more space. And this is kind of a big canvas compared to the cupcake from last week. But the cupcakes are a hit. And I drove all the way to Cape Cod to deliver a show of cupcakes and Cape Cod scenes. The place is in Orleans. It's called Joe Mama's. It's a coffee shop. And so, you know, as much as I'd rather be hanging in museums, I think it's great to hang your art everywhere. So, give it away. When you go to someone's house, if someone says, oh, use our beach house for the week, bring a canvas, do a little scene from their beach house, and leave it behind. The people that don't take money, oh, I can't take anything for that. So, you can do that too. And when you're painting, you'd be surprised how many people don't have original art on their walls. So it's a lot of fun to spread your artwork around. The more you look around through town, you'll see a lot of my work. And a lot of it, you know, I give it away. A lot of times people buy it, but a lot of times I just give it away. I probably shouldn't, but I kind of like to. And then, of course, the charities I love to do. There is the Grant Sheely Memorial Charity coming up. It's a golf tournament at Farmington Country Club. And Grant Sheely was probably one of the best teachers my kids ever had. And he was a great gym teacher in town. So if anybody wants to support that function, it's fantastic. Anyhow, passed 2 years ago. He was the most favorite gym teacher ever. And I'll be donating to that charity most definitely because he was just such a great guy. Of course, the Pettits, they're great people. Donate anything for them. And anybody that I really care about or like the cause. So, you know, it's good to give your stuff to charities too. I remember donating to a charity once and someone said, Dawn, we're so sorry, we only got $35 for your painting. I said, I love it. It's $35, it's fine. Other times I'll get over $1,000, which is great too. I try to raise as much as I can because I like to help these causes. Okay, now some people might say, oh, it's darker there and it's lighter there. I don't like that. Well, I do. You know why? Because the light is hitting it and I can fix it later. So I'm just trying to fill up the canvas so that I have something nice to show at the end of the program. Perfect. So what I'm going to do, maybe I'll leave the background like it is. I could go back later. It doesn't matter. I usually tell people to do the background first, just because the foreground goes over the background, therefore making the background go away, which is what you want sometimes. So what I'm going to do now is my hydrangeas are probably drying a little bit, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to take this blue, and I might mix it with another color blue, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do those little heart things, and I'm going to sort of put them around. And again, I'm not really making a heart because my paintbrush isn't heart-shaped, but I can definitely make 4 of these just by doing that. I want it darker towards the bottom. Okay, and again, I'm getting kind of sloppy here because you don't have to take forever making these little things everywhere, because a lot of times they don't really look real. So you have to kind of move them around. I like to do that. So we'll just whip this up, okay? I'm gonna start going a little faster now. Again, don't worry, you can always go back, okay? Then let me go in and do the pink one, and then I'll do the white one, and then we'll try to get the glass jar looking like a glass jar. So much fun. I just want people to know you shouldn't stress out with the painting. There's no bad, there's no good, there's in between. And even the classes that I teach, every now and then, I'll grab somebody's, and they're not necessarily the best painter in the class, but the painting's better than everybody's, even mine. Sometimes I sit down and I say, you people teach me because they're so good. So I'm going to take the pink and I'm going to lighten it up a little so that I have another form of the pink. And again, sunlight's going to hit the top. Maybe make it a little darker because that's kind of light, but I'll use some of that anyway. And I'm going to put in some more pinks, okay? And the more colors and light and darks that you use, the more this thing is going to look real. So I'm going to mix together that and just adding more white. Okay, and if we need to whip this up on the next show, I can show you what it looks like when it's done, or I can bring it home and bring it back. But I usually like to paint pretty fast, and I paint on the streets a lot, so you know I can't be on the street all hours of the day, and I usually don't like to go back, but I will if I have to. And you'll see me painting anywhere. I painted at the Robertson Airport last week for the wings and wheels, hoping to get a free airplane ride, but it did attract the people that own the planes. You know, how much is that painting? I'm like, well, it's not very good, but you know what? How much is your plane? That's what I want to know. And how about we trade? You take the painting and you bring me to Martha's Vineyard with my girlfriends for the week, because it only takes 45 minutes, I think, to get on a plane and get over there. You know, I think New Hampshire takes like, everything's under an hour when you're flying in New England. It's very quick. So I'd love that. I love to barter. Also, if you ever want to be a guest on the show, just ask me. Reach out, go down to my studio at 244 Main Street, leave a note on the door. I would love it. And you can be a guest. One person said, oh, I can't paint. I said, well, that's the whole point. I can't do second grade math. So, you know, when my kids I used to have to help them with that. It was a disaster. You know, I tried, but I couldn't do it. So, you know, there are things that people are good at, and there are things that other people are good at. And you know, you don't have to worry about it. It's not a big deal. I'm going to take this green, again, it's too bright green, so I'll dull it down with some of this brown. And I usually put a lot of white on my palette because the white's always useful. And I always buy a big, huge tube of white and then a big, huge tube of black. And those come in handy. Again, I'm just going into the pink here because I'm looking to dull down my color. I can go in the brown and dull it down. I can go in the pink. And I'm going to add some of these towards the bottom. Another girlfriend of mine in the class, Olga, my gosh, she uses a paper towel, crinkles it up, and just blots it all over the flowers. It works like a charm. So you can do it that way too. I just decided I'm not going to do it that way this time. So we're going to go in here. I'll give it a break for a minute. Bring it down a little. Okay, and then we got to make the sticks. Now, the stems of a hydrangea and the leaves are very, very bright green. So I'm going to take this bright green here. I'm going to put a little blue in it just to make it a little bit darker. So I take a darker blue and I'll put that in, and then I have it. And the bottom of the leaf is this color, but so is the stem. So the stem, if you can keep a steady hand, don't worry if you can't, but generally the stick is pretty light. Okay, so I have the 3 stems, put that in a little like that. And then the leaves are extremely big, and they're like a big point. So you put the leaf in. Again, I'm going to add a little bit more blue. Put this leaf in here, and you can go into there. And it's very pointy on the end, so pointy that it's like kind of like that. Well, I'm going to have to go off the page, but it's very pointy. And then off of the leaf are these little points. So you put this, okay? And it looks like we might have to go into the second episode to make this look gorgeous. We have 5 minutes left. I'm going to keep going. And then when I have 3 minutes left, I'll say bye-bye. And we'll see you next week because I love it. Remember that, kids. What did you do to your hair? I love it. That's what I say. I remember my mom once, someone said, Bootsy, where did you get your hair done? You know, like putting her down. And my mother said, oh, well, my husband and I just got back from Paris, and there's this great salon that all the celebrities go to, and I just went in there, and this is how it came out. I was like, Mom, that's genius. She was like, well, I'm not going to deal with that stuff. And I was like, neither am I. Forget it. I am too done with that. One time when I was subbing, a girl said, are those real Uggs? I said, no, they're from Walmart. I love them. I have them in pink, blue, green, black. I have tan. And I just kept going and going and going until she walked away. Shut up. Because I'm just so sick of the people bullying over. Nobody cares anymore. It's too bad that these kids have to deal with that stuff. So I'm putting a couple leaves in. I might shoot one over here, okay? You can draw it in. You can paint it in, whatever you like. And then we're probably going to have to finish this one the next time. It'll be quick, but I bet you I can start one the next time too. So we're going to probably go like this. Sometimes the bottom of I'm going to add a little yellow, and that makes it kind of an aqua. Now, when the leaves go down on the bottom of a glass jar, sometimes they make this kind of light thing there. And then the background, everybody's, oh, glass is so hard. No, it's not. It's easy because everything that you see is through. So whatever the background is going to be the glass. So since this is white, the glass will be white. I'm going to take a little bit of black just to make it not so white. And I'm just going to put my picture in so I can see it. Okay? Now that's wet, so I don't really want to go there, but I'll put in the stem, the picture handle. And then I'll put in this. I forgot this is going to stay brown, but don't worry, I'll teach you how to fix that. And then I'm going to go, again, this is wet still, so you got to be careful. But I would make the whole picture sort of like a gray. And then we can go right through here. And then when you go back, you can do fun stuff like this. You can take the picture and you can make it look like it's showing in the light. And all you do is take the paintbrush and you just drag it down. Sort of looks like real glass. So that's a great way to start it. Remember, the hydrangeas, you don't need a whole bunch of them. I would stay small. I happen to have a bunch of these big canvases laying around, but this one I will make great, and we will really have it looking good. So I'm going to keep going, and then we're going to end soon. And then it's going to be great. We're going to have lots of guests on. We're going to have Steve from Apricots. I think I'm going to ask him how to cook a rabbit. And he says, oh, I can't paint. Well, I can't cook a rabbit, so teach me how to do that. Ron's Automotive. Might ask him how to do an oil change on a Honda CR-V because, you know what, I don't know. And then while we're painting, I'm not going to make it hard for them. I would never have you on a guest to a show and make you look foolish. I'm going to make your painting look great. So if this is too hard, I'll do something else with somebody. I took a little bit of brown into my green, and I'm going back just to make sure that I have some lights and some darks. Okay, and put that in there. And then I'll go back, make my leaves a little bit better. I can go back with my leaf, and I can take this bright aqua color here, and I can make a line going straight. Whoopsie, didn't mean that, but watch this. It's amazing how this stuff comes on. If I have a wet paper towel, I could get rid of that right now, but when it dries, I'm gonna go right over it. Then my leaf goes like this, and I can put a little bit more of this down here. Make sure it's straight. Anything that drips, you can always fix that later. Okay, I'm gonna keep going, and then we can't wait to have you back. Please tune in. I'm not sure what time I'm gonna be on yet. We'll look on the Nutmeg channel, look it up online. You'll get all the crack of dawns, and we'll get people on here. We'll get painting. Maybe we'll have some kids on here. Some of the kids are fantastic at it. And again, when you're left with all this paint, it's kind of a bummer because you have all this paint left over. But you know what, I'm the instructor. This costs hardly anything. And again, we're not doing oil paints, so the acrylic's pretty good to get rid of. So thank you for tuning in. I love it. Again, anybody says anything, I love it. Works like a charm, and you know what? It keeps people happy and friendly and wonderful. And I am a very faithful person, and I really believe in being nice to others because it just is so much worthy for everybody around you and everybody else. It's just the way to be. Nice. Mr. Rogers, maybe. Put a little light over here. As we tone out, I will see you on the next crack of dawn.